Full time. Doing gang things. Living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. One time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach, screaming Panty hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start, screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you peek these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. That it came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that wop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. BS help me, shout let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. There you go. I'm in there. Good evening to you all. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We're live on TikTok. We're going to try to live on TikTok thing again. I'm telling you though, guys, if they ban me, this is my last time. Like, this is the last time I'm gonna try with them. Oh, excuse me, guys. My braid is in my necklace. Crazy. Okay. All right. Well, I have a good show for you guys this evening. If you can like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let me share my videos and stuff while we're waiting for everybody to come in. I did not, you know what? Okay, I did not post on Facebook today. It's a lot trying to get these networks together and figure out when to post where at what time, but I'm learning how to manage it. Okay, we are learning how to manage it. All right, so thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. Please allow me to introduce myself just in case you're new here. I go by Miss Mono's World in these content creator streets: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, all the places the content creators be. If you're not at the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONLOGMAGAD. That way you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. But Lord willing, you can count on me. I'll be here every Thursday at 8 o'clock, like clockwork. We've been doing this show for a few years now. It's been a few years. So I will be here. Hold on a second, guys. Let me just send out this. Oh, okay. All right. I had to add a green bubble user to a group chat, and it totally changed the group chat, and I didn't realize it changed the name of the group chat too. You green bubbles are a menace to you're a menace to texting society. Okay. All right. First thing I wanted to get to, I have a few different things I want to go through tonight, and then we'll get to our main topic. So the main topic is your panty line is showing. Okay, we're gonna get into that. And we're gonna be talking about the Christian veneer, American nationalism, just a few things that have been uncovered lately. Okay, but before we get into that, a few other things. Okay, so let me tell y'all a story. Okay, imagine that you win a contest, you win a prize, right? You entered a prize, you win this contest. So nowadays they do everything online, right? All of the contests are online, you enter online or whatever. Back in the 90s though, you would get magazines to your house, and inside in the magazine they would have like a little card that you could fill out to win this drawing, right? So people would fill them out thinking that they had won like life-changing amounts of money. You're talking about like millions of dollars here, hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever. No, actually it was millions of dollars. And so these people are thinking that they have money for the rest of their life. They're thinking that they're going to get paid for the rest of their life, right? I mean, we're talking about like $230,000 a year that some of these people were getting. So of course you go out, you buy a house, you get the cars, you start living a lifestyle that you can now afford. Well, imagine if, you're into this 10 years, 20 years. Lanish, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you so much for joining me. Imagine you're in this thing like 10 years, 20 years, 15, 30 years, okay? And remember now, you're thinking you're going to get this money for the rest of your life. Tierra, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You think you're going to get this money for the rest of your life, okay? And so let's be real, right? Because a lot of us will sit on this side and say, well, if I won $1.3 million, I would do this, I would do that, I would save it. There's no way that I would ever be caught out there. Like, there's no way I'm going broke after I have $1 million. I'm going to take it. I'm going to do it. Like, you have the plan for your money, right? So from where we're sitting, it's like, even if Trepak, shalom and shalom, thank you for joining me. Even if for some reason the money was to run dry, in your head, you're still going to be good because you have thought of some way to flip this money. You have thought of some way to make your checks sustainable. Okay. Well, unfortunately, the people that won the money did not take this approach. They spent it on cars, they spent it on houses, they're taking lavish vacations. No one is thinking that this money is going to run out. Okay. And so imagine you've acquired all these material things. You have the house, you have the car, but now you have bills that you cannot pay. You have not worked in 10, 15 years, and you have no idea where your next paycheck is coming from because the people that told you that they were going to be paying you for the rest of your life have now filed bankruptcy. Okay. And that is what is happening right now to a bunch of people who have won the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstake. And this used to be a really big deal. Some of y'all might be too young to remember, but this used to be a really big deal. Like they used to announce the winner during the Super Bowl. They would go to their house. It would be live. Like people wanted to win this sweepstakes. And so for us who grew up watching this on TV to now hear that this very same company is bankrupt is wild. Because I'm like, how could they go bankrupt? So apparently they sold the company to another entity. That entity looked at the amount that they would have to pay out over the winner's lifetime and decided that that was more than they wanted to earn to pay out. What was supposed to happen is the winner's amount of money. So if you won, say you won $2 million, they were originally putting that $2 million into like an escrow account. So it would just sit there. So when it was time for you to get paid, you would get paid from this escrow account. Like your lifetime money is already over here. You're going to get paid from this escrow account. So you're good. When they sold the company to the other entity stopped doing that practice. So they weren't taking these people's money and setting it to the side anymore. So eventually the money has run out. These people are sitting around and there's nothing anybody can do about it. I feel so bad for them. And like I said, like it's easy for us to sit back here and say what we would do. Now I would say that because I know how my husband is. Like my husband would have definitely had 2 or 3 businesses started. We would have had some other passive streams of income. Give my husband $230,000 and tell him he gonna get another $230,000 the next year. You ain't gotta tell him he gonna get some more the next year. And I know y'all think like, oh, you're just saying that. No, I'm not. I got in a car accident 11 years ago. How old is my son? Paxton is 10. So I got in that car accident about 11, 12 years ago. We got a check for $10,000 and my husband flipped half of that. He didn't even need the whole 10,000. He flipped half of that into businesses that have sustained us. We own our own homes. We own our vehicle. Like it can be done. It can be done. So yeah, that's just wild. I can't imagine. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. If you're not already at the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. That way you know when we go live here. Okay. All right. Let me see. What was my next thing I had for y'all? Okay. You know what I've been seeing a lot lately? Sound baths, right? And I don't know if you guys have been seeing them as much as I have, but there's a place that opened here in Atlanta, and it's like, okay, no, it's not even a place. It is a service that is being offered. Okay, actually, hold on, let me see if I can find a flyer. Is this it? Oh no, here it is. Okay. Yeah, it's a service that's being offered here in Atlanta called a floating sound bath. Okay. Hold on. Let me share this with y'all so you can see what I'm seeing. And this isn't my first time hearing about sound baths. Sound baths are actually an ancient practice. But what I notice a lot is that these days we like to get caught up in trends and not fully understand what we're getting ourselves involved in. Okay. So this service that they're offering here in Atlanta now is called a floating sound bath. Okay. And it's offered by this lady who's a Reiki, I don't know how they pronounce it. I think Reiki master. Okay, so what she does is she rents out the pool at this hotel or various hotels around the city. And these people are floating and they're listening to her play sounds on these bowls here. Right. And the whole idea is that this is supposed to be healing to you. This is supposed to be like some form of deep meditation. And Brianna, Shalom and Shalom sis, thank you so much for joining me. It's supposed to be some kind of deep meditation, and it's supposed to the sounds are set to different frequencies and stuff like this. And so me, I'm like, wait a minute. You're not going to tell me that something is supposed to be healing, and I'm not going to try to figure out where it's supposedly getting this power from, okay? Because this is, you know what I'm saying? You're not talking about take something and it's going to heal you. No, you're telling me that something that you're doing externally to my body is supposed to heal me on the inside. So where did this come from? Okay, this is not a new practice at all. This actually started way back in ancient Tibet. The bowls that you see them using are used to be called Tibetan singing bowls, and their monks and their priests would use them during their prayer time. Yes, the ones floating on the air mattresses in the pool. Yes. They used to use they would play the bowls during their prayer time. Okay. Um the sound being healing actually comes from an ancient belief that that creation comes from a sound. Like there is belief that the sound that's why they always say when they meditate or whatever, but they believe that this is the sound of creation. This vibration is what allowed all of creation to become. And so when they imitate these noises at these different frequencies, they are activating healing vibrations and frequencies from the creator sound. Okay, so please, y'all, stay away from this. Stay away from it. I know it's tempting to want to find different ways to relax. I get it. I enjoy a nice hot bath and a massage myself. You understand what I'm saying? But let's be careful when people are trying to offer us solutions without being able to explain where it came from. Okay. Because, like, I could take this bottle of Benadryl and I know, okay, it has histamines in it. It's supposed to do this, that. Okay. But now you're telling me that you're going to do something to me, or you're going to manipulate my energy fields, or you're going to manipulate intangible parts of me or my body. Okay, now we need to start being concerned, because under whose authority are you seeking to manipulate my mind and my spirit? You understand what I'm saying? So let's stay out the hotel pools on the floating mattresses in Atlanta. Let's stay away from the sound baths. Okay, we don't need to get caught up in that kind of stuff. Okay, we don't. All right, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Angelina, Shalom and Shalom sis, thank you so much for joining me. If you're listening live, comment live. If you happen to catch us later on the replay, comment replay. Let us know where you are joining us from. Y'all see this crazy piece of hair right here? It's bothering me, and it wasn't bothering me before I started. Okay. All right. Okay. Before we get to our main topic, I wanted to talk to y'all about our thought cycles, right? Because I'm working on a writing. Hopefully I'll be publishing it soon. But it's a lot dealing with our thought processes, and letting go of those thoughts that do not serve us anymore, okay? And so as I was writing, I started thinking about how when we don't control our thoughts, they lead us to bad behavior, which leads us to continuous cycle, right? Because okay, you're feeling bad about whatever. And okay, I did pray about it. And I was like, well, what is this? What is, why? Why the thoughts? Why is that a big deal? And um for this is me personally. I'm not saying anything. This is just me. The Burr months, we know the Burr months get cold. The Burr months are times for holidays, as well as our feast days. And so I want us to be careful about the marketing, the propaganda, and the advertising that is going on around us this time of year. Okay. Because they're pushing family, 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 holiday, 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 but it's all in the name of consumerism. Okay. They are only, getting into the, happy time of year to get you to spend money for Thanksgiving and for their Christmas and for their New Year's, to get into the spirit of things. Okay. We also know the Burr months get cold. The sun does not like to play with us as much as it does in those months. That can affect your mood. Okay. I don't want to say we all know, because I don't like to say things like that, but vitamin D is your main, the sun is your main clean source of vitamin D. Okay. Ladies, vitamin D is very important for us because it helps us with our mood. It helps with our hormones. It just helps with our overall well-being. Okay. So like I tell y'all all the time, go to the doctor, have your vitamins checked. That affects your mood tremendously. You would be surprised. I had an uncle, that was like super paranoid. Like he would call his daughter and, talk about, oh, there are people outside my window. They're coming to get me, da, da, da. They took him to the doctor and found out he had low potassium. Low potassium can cause you to have paranoid hallucinations. I had no idea about that until that moment. Okay. So, get your vitamins checked. If whatever supplements you need, get those, but also be on guard going into these Burr months. Okay. Don't let the propaganda of this time of year make you feel like you're doing something wrong. Don't let it make you feel like you're lonely. Don't let it make you feel like you're less than because you're not doing the things that we're being told that we're supposed to be doing at this time of year. Yeah, just guard yourself with that. And so the Bible, 2 Corinthians 10:5, I just looked it up before I came on here, talks about bringing our thoughts into obedience, bringing our thoughts under subjection. Okay. You all right. I didn't even mean to go here, but let's go. All right. You think that the thoughts that you think are your own, right? You would think that, right? You would think that, oh, me, myself, come up with the things that I think about, right? But the truth of the matter is you don't. And your thoughts are a product of what you're ingesting all day. Whatever media you're taking in, whatever music you're taking in, whatever sights, sounds you're taking in around you, this is where your thoughts come from. Okay. And this is the problem with content. This is the problem with so much social media content. Zipporah Israel, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. This is the problem with so much social media content, right? Because whose thoughts are you thinking? If you are not taking the time to center yourself, to get in touch with your creator, to make sure that your thoughts are lining up to what he wants for you, you are susceptible to carry on the thoughts of whoever you listen to the most. Okay. And if that person is not leading you in the word of God and is not encouraging you to seek God for yourself, to follow his commandments, to let him order your footsteps, then where are they leading you and what are they convincing you is right? My problem with a lot of content creators is they try to be positive without having an origin for their positivity. Okay. And when you don't have an origin, then anything can be positive. What do I mean by that? All right. Say me and you get in a fight. I don't know. Car accident. Something crazy, right? All right. Say me and you get in a car accident, right? It's neither one of our fault. The police don't know whose fault it is. They come on the scene and they like, well, we don't know. Y'all got to duke it out in court. Okay. Without knowing who's right or wrong, I can say my positive thought is for this to turn out my way. My positive outcome would be for you to be found guilty. You got to pay me. Your insurance got to replace my car. Your positive outcome would be for me to be found guilty and then we got to replace your car, right? So what's positive is relative to the person who's doing the thinking and whatever they need, want, or follow at that time. Remember when we talked about astrology versus astronomy a few weeks ago and how you can't believe in the Bible and you can't believe in astrology at the same time because astrology is a set of beliefs. Astrology is a mindset. It is a way that you determine to live your life. I'm going to live my life according to the fact that I was born in November under Scorpio. And so now everything I do is what they say a Scorpio does. Okay. I'm no longer going to confer to the law. I'm going to look to my astrology chart to tell me what I should do as a Scorpio. Okay. This is what I'm saying. So without a source or an origin or a compass, someone telling you, oh, I have some positivity for you, or I have a positive quote for you, it's null and void. It's null and void. It's like a battery, right? There has to be a charging point. There has to be a specific point that designates that this is like ultimate positive. Okay. This is ultimate positive and this is ultimate negative. But we don't want to live in that because we don't like extremes. We don't like extremes. We like the gray area. We don't like black and white. We don't like yes and no. We don't like absolute truth and absolute lies. We don't like any of that. We want to be able to make it up as we go along. And so if on Monday I was feeling super spiritual, then my positivity on Monday is going to be waiting to hear from the Lord on something, or I did a fast or something to grow me in my relationship with God. But if on Tuesday I'm feeling like breaking hell loose, then my positivity is going to be somebody going to call me so we can go get lit when I get off work. You understand what I'm saying? So be careful what you're listening to and who you are getting your lessons from, right? I used to hate this when I was younger, and I have to say, like, I still don't like it now. Okay. I hate when the secular radio station does they little praise break on a morning show. And I've had this conversation with some people and they'll be like, oh, but it might lead somebody to Christ and it might do you think that just because you drop a song that mentions Jesus in the middle of a twerk, reggae, dance hall, hip hop, trap music, I don't even know what they call it these days, do you think that little one blip out of a whole Friday morning lineup is going to, because the song is 3 to 5 minutes long. So it's not like we even get time to think and reflect. The song is on, the song goes off, and next thing you know, we right back to our business. It gives the impression that, oh, if I just give God this little 5 minutes out of my day, then I'm fine. If I just focus on this little positive thought or positive affirmation of the day, I'm fine. We're not talking about how tight you keeping these commandments. We're not talking about how you're living your life on a day-to-day basis. We're not talking about if the law of kindness is on your tongue. Do you love your neighbor? We're not talking about any of that. Just focus on this positive thought for the day, and then you'll be fine. And it does not work. It does not work. If it did, there wouldn't be so many people in depression. I mean, you could just turn on 107.9 and wait till about 9:50 in the morning and catch their little gospel song. And if they even do it anymore, I haven't listened to the radio in so long. If they even do it anymore, and let that be. But it's not going to sustain you. Not if you need to change your thought life. And if you're feeling emotions, you need to change your thought life. That's the solution. Sidebar, and I have to do this every time we get to talk about thoughts, feelings, and emotions, because there are some people who do need help, okay? So if you're saying, listen, Miss Mano, I hear what you're saying, but I still have a hard time, please go talk to somebody, go talk to a doctor, get treatment, okay? Get treatment, get help, okay? I don't want, I do not put a spiritual Band-Aid over physical wounds. Okay. If my child is bleeding, I'm going to go get an actual Band-Aid and put it on the Band-Aid and clean the wound, put it on the Band-Aid so my child can. Okay. So if you have an actual issue that is keeping you down, please go talk to somebody, see a doctor. Okay. But for the rest of us, control your thoughts. Control your thoughts, and to do that, you control the source of your thoughts, okay? And listen, sometimes you doing everything right. Sometimes you in your Bible, you know what I'm saying? You on your gospel or your truth music, and you are really just feeding yourself spiritually, and you'll still get those contrary thoughts. It is your job to stop it. It's your job to stop it. You stop letting. Okay. You know the word inspire. The spire, the SPIR, refers to spirit, right? It's from a spiritual source, inspiration. Sometimes you are inspired to do good things. Sometimes you are inspired to do bad things. You know how they show you the little devil and the little angel in the old cartoons? You have one on one shoulder, the other on the other shoulder. Okay, it's like that in real life. I know, we're not supposed to tell you this, but it's like that in real life, okay? And so it is up to you to decide which inspiration you are going to follow. All right? You can follow the inspiration of the Lord that leads you in his direction, or you can follow the inspiration of the enemy that will lead you further away from what God has for you. It is up to you to decide what thoughts to accept, right? It's not like when you drive through the toll, and there used to be a time when you had to pay quarters, like physical quarters. Yeah, I'm telling y'all how old I am. Because the tolls in Jersey ain't been a quarter since like the early 90s. So but back then, when you had to flip a quarter in there, the gate wouldn't just open. If you pulled up to the toll and you didn't flip your quarter in there, the gate would not open. The attendant would come over, they would have to write you a slip, and then they would open the gate for you, right? Okay. But now with Easy Pass and everything, and everybody just got the little thing stuck on their car, no matter what, the gate opens because it can read your license plate. So if you don't pay now, we're going to make you pay later. It's that kind of thing. So now you just ride up and it's open, or a lot of times there's not a gate there at all. So it's like that with your thoughts, right? But just pretend that they have quarters and you have to check them in. Okay. Some of y'all aren't doing that. And some of y'all get so inebriated to the point that you can't do that. And this is the drunkenness that the Bible was speaking of. All right. You have to be able to control your thoughts. As a man thinketh, so is he. Okay. And so you have to control that. You have to, and it's hard. I know it's hard, especially when you're used to bad things happening or you're used to things crumbling around you. It can be hard to train your mind to expect and focus on your blessings or what is going good or what could possibly go good. So yesterday in our group chat, shout out to my group chat. I love my sisters in my Bible study group chat. Yesterday in our and I love the group chat, sidebar. I love the group chat because I can be myself. I can be myself. A lot of stuff that I think I don't post because I don't need people looking down on me, right? I don't want people looking down on me. Let me just have a moment with y'all, okay? I've been married to my husband for 11, going on 12 years now. This is the longest relationship I have ever been in, and this is not my first marriage. Honestly, by the time we had reached 2 years, it had been the longest relationship that I had ever been in, and this is not my first marriage, okay? So a lot of things that come from being in a stable, happy, healthy marriage, in a stable, happy, healthy family, a lot of these things are new to me, okay? But I have found in the past when I have tried to express these things before, people love the opportunity. Duh, girl, like, duh, that ain't that big of a deal. Or what you bragging about? Like, you needed a man for that, and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things I just keep inside. But I know when I get to my sisters in my Bible study chat, I can talk about it. And 9 times out of 10, they can relate to what I'm saying, which is just amazing, right? That's where you want to be. Okay, so yesterday we were talking and I was leaving the house. I don't remember where I was going. I was leaving the house and the thought came to me like, when is the other shoe going to drop? Because I've been happy. I've been content. I've been happy. My family's been happy. We've been healthy. Our businesses have been growing. My ministry has been growing. Praise the Most High. Everything is going well. And so my mind in its weakness will start to panic and look around and think, okay, something's about to go wrong. Something's about to go wrong. Something's about to blow up. The other shoe is about to drop. We can't be this good for this long. What is going on? And it's like I felt the Holy Spirit tell me, this is what stability is. This is what stability is. You're not supposed to have a bunch of erratic ups and downs in your life. Your life is supposed to be stable with steady, no matter how big or small it is, but steady growth. That's what your life is supposed to be. You're not supposed to be expecting a trauma every month. You're not supposed to be expecting something to get cut off. You're not supposed to be expecting some overdue bill to come. You're not supposed to be expecting my husband gonna act up today, beat me upside the head. You're not supposed to be expecting these things. And some of us, it's not our fault. I understand that. I grew up a product of a single mom. So sometimes she couldn't help that the lights got cut off. Sometimes she couldn't help, the car broke down and now we got to try to figure out how to get around. Sometimes she couldn't help those things. But also, once I became an adult, I put myself in a lot of situations that didn't allow me the stability that I would have had if I would have been living in obedience at that time. Okay. And so to me, it was like an eye opener. And I get that might not be an eye opener to a lot of you. Like a lot of you may have been, enjoying a stable, healthy family life for years. All praises to the Most High. But this is new to me. Okay. Man, it feels good. It feels good. Okay. it feels great. And I have to thank my husband. I don't think that man enough. But I have to thank him for showing me stability and giving me stability and allowing me to be at peace in my life. And here's another thing where we have to worry about our thought life, right? Because a lot of the content that we're fed these days is what? Drama and gossip and drama. I need the tea on this. You need the tea on that. Ooh, this tea is piping hot. Ooh, you got to get this. You got to get that. And so we're constantly expecting hits of drama to keep us going. And it's like the dopamine hits in your brain that they tell you about that you get when you're scrolling social media or when you get a like or something and your brain feels rewarded. Okay, it's the same kind of thing. We're expecting this crash of dopamine to occur at any moment. But that's not what real life is about. And you have got to train your brain to be at peace in stability. And I know it's hard because we're taught that stability is boring. Stability is boring. Being happily married and staying at home and taking care of your kids and you're happy at the house. What's wrong with you? Like, that's boring. This is what we are taught. But the fact of the matter is, that's how you're supposed to live. You're supposed to be happy at the home that you pay for. Like, it really boggles my mind sometimes how we are so just run amok when it comes to capitalism, consumerism, and spend. Because I pay $2,000, $3,000, however much y'all paying for rent out here these days. Hell, our mortgage be knocking on $2,500. Okay, so I'm paying all this money for my house to live in, but you're going to convince me that there's something more out there in the world that I need to go and pay for even more? Does that make any sense to you? Now that you know what I'm saying? When I stop and think about it, that does not make any sense. Why do I need to pay somebody $50 to go to the movies when I can just stay at my house? Especially in this day of streaming and everything else, when I could just stay in my house. I'm not telling y'all not to ever go outside, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Toxic cycles can become so familiar and something you expect until you experience it. Absolutely. Absolutely. You start to look for it. I remember my mom used to tell me all the time, there are women who think that if they're not getting beat, their man don't love them. Because that's what they're used to. That's how they're used to a man showing them love and affection. Don't even get me started, okay? But this is true. This is what becomes familiar. My sons have 2 turtles, right? And now, these turtles live in an aquarium in our house. But sometimes we take them outside. My son will take them outside, right? And so when we go outside, the turtles will still find dirt to bury in. They will look for some dirt and they take their little beaks and they get in. If you don't watch them, they'll go way down. But why would you go back to the dirt? That you had all this fresh air out here. Why are you going back to the dirt? Because that's what they're used to. They're used to the dirt. So even when you try to give them fresh air, they want to go back to where they're comfortable and what they are used to. This is why I be trying to tell y'all, be careful about the people who you bring around, the people who you try to make your friends. Because if they're used to living in dirt and drama, that's where they're going to go. Even when you can try to take them to sunnier pastures all you want to. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. It's that kind of thing. Like, I can show you a better way. But if you're not ready to mature and grow into this better way and you want to stay in the dirt that you're used to, there's nothing anybody can do about that. So just, y'all, please be careful as the weather is getting colder. It's starting to get darker earlier. And I'm one of those people whose mood is affected, okay? If I wake up and it's cold and it's dreary, like, I don't even want to get out the bed. Call me when the sun come back up. Like, I honestly could hibernate. I really feel like from like November, and I'm only saying that because I'm here in Atlanta, but like maybe from like November to like March, I could just stay in the house, okay? But that's not healthy. That is not healthy. Nicole, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. That is not healthy to hibernate during these burr months. We need to exercise. Y'all need to make sure you're taking your vitamin D, okay? Get your exercise, get your vitamin D, get your green leafy vegetables. Try to eat as much live food as you can during this time. And they do have lights. They do have special lights that have the UV effect from the sun. And you can, put them on your face for a few minutes to help you with that. But please, whatever you do, be on guard. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, okay? So you have to be on guard. It's the things that you can't see that you have to watch out for. So, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Gird your loins. We are going to make it through these burr months. The summer will shine on us again, Lord willing, okay? Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. I have a surprise for y'all next week. Okay, one of my good sister friends has written a children's book. This book is, y'all, I promise you, you're going to want it for your kids. I'm gonna have her on here next week to talk about the book, and then you will be seeing it more often. Okay. If you would like to support the ministry efforts that we have going on here at the House of Mono, please head over to the Cash App $, the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do. I do have other ways for you to support the ministry, and we will go over those at the end of today's show. Okay. All right. So let's get to the main topic, right? And I called it Your Panty Line is Showing because look, I have to post topics to get people's attention, okay? I can't tell y'all in layman terms what I'm gonna talk about because then ain't nobody gonna come. I gotta make it sound snazzy. Remember, you know what I'm saying? The world I'm competing in, gossip, drama, and tea. A lot of these people just put celebrity names in their headlines and make it their hashtags and use that to get views, but I'm not doing that. I thought about taking that route, but I can't do that if I'm saying I'm a woman of God. I can't get up here and be gossiping about people, talking about people using their life experiences for fodder and views. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. So I have to think of other things to get people's attention. And so we come up with these topics. Your panty line is showing. Okay. So yeah, I'm excited too, since I can't wait to have you. Okay, so and listen, this sister is she is working. Okay, you talk about somebody working. Sis is working. She is creating. She is putting stuff out on the market. So we're gonna go over everything that she has to offer you guys next week. Okay. Sorry, I had to get a little water. All right. So here lately, I have been seeing a lot of talk about Christian nationalism, what it is, how it affects us, things like that. And as I'm listening to the explanations, I'm like, duh. Like, duh. Why is anybody surprised? Okay. And I guess I kind of take that for granted as a student of history, somebody who, enjoys history, biblical, secular, other religions, mythologies. I'm into all that. Okay. And so it does not seem surprising to me where we are now, but go with me and then we're going to apply it to our lives. Okay. All right. So many moons ago, back in the days of the Roman Empire, paganism was running wild. Okay. And now, if you recall, even before we get to the New Testament, when the Israelites are in Roman captivity, the constant issue in the Bible is worshiping other gods. You shall have no other gods before me. When Moses was up getting the law, he came down. They were worshiping calves. You had Jezebel and Baal and Asheroth and Ahab, who went and built temples. Solomon went and built. You always had a problem with us going off and running off with these other gods, not sticking with our own, right? Okay, so before the spread of Christianity, you had paganism, okay? And at the simple explanation for our purposes, when we talk about paganism, I want to talk about worshiping deities specific to their geographic location, okay? So Egypt, they had their gods. The Romans, they had their gods. The Greeks, they had their gods, right? And so from our modern eyes, when we look back at it, we just say, oh, these were all the same gods. They just gave them different names. I, however, do not feel that way. I feel like these people made these. I feel like, okay, simply put, I feel like these people were given these entities to worship. Okay, I don't want to get too much into other stuff. Okay. So if you lived in Rome, per se, Rome had a god of water. Okay, and this god was responsible for making sure all the water in Rome stayed clean and everybody had running water. And then you had a god of harvest, and this god was responsible for making sure that the fields gave their harvest every year. You had a goddess of love and fertility, and she was responsible for making sure that men and women fell in love and they could have babies. Okay, and so you have all these different gods for these different places. And so now if I live in Rome, I believe that my livelihood in Rome is dependent upon pleasing these separate gods. Okay. So say my business is say my business was concrete back then. Okay, because they did have concrete in Rome. So say my business was concrete back then, and one of the elements of concrete was rocks. Okay, and so I need rocks. Okay, and so I'm going to go worship the goddess of rocks. Okay, which whatever god is responsible for making rocks, I want to appease this god. I'm going to offer them offerings, and if you come and try to piss this god off, I'm going to be mad, because if the god is mad, then they're not going to make sure that I have enough rocks to run my concrete business and keep my family in the lifestyle we're accustomed to. All right. And so this is the problem with Christianity once it starts to break out. Okay. You are going to piss off the gods that have been keeping us living in this life that we have become accustomed to. Okay. And so now you think of the riches at the time of the Roman Empire. Okay. You're talking about the majority of the known world at that time. Okay. They're collecting tribute from the majority of the known world. Okay. They wasn't just saying, oh yeah, we roam. No, they was taking these people's resources. These people had to pay taxes. It's pretty much how it is now. Everything really belongs to the government, those kind of things. Okay. And so the people who are enjoying the fruits of this, the benefits of this, have to keep the people dependent upon the gods that are keeping them successful. So the money keeps coming in. All right. It's really a problem from the top down. Okay. But everybody from rich to poor agrees that these gods keep us living the way we're living, and we're not going to let anybody come and piss them off. Okay. So, but then here comes Jesus with his message, and I'm just using Jesus as the common tongue. His name is Yahushua, the Messiah, the Christ. Okay. So here he comes with his message talking about God loves everyone. The poor will be with you always. He gives instructions for how to take care of them. He heals the sick. He heals the poor, the people who couldn't afford the doctors or that couldn't get answers. Remember the lady with the issue of blood? She had been going to the doctors for 12 years. Okay. And so here he comes offering these answers that are not dependent upon you worshiping several different deities. Okay. Because if everything is going wrong, then who do I turn to? I got to appease this God, but then I don't have enough. I had to give an offering to this one. So now I don't have enough to give an offering to that one. So now what do I have to offer to this one? And how am I ever going to get everything right? But if someone comes along preaching, hey, there's one God that controls everything, you really don't have to keep going through this. Oh, what? For someone who is underprivileged, this is a blessing, because clearly these gods have not been working for the poor, the underprivileged, and the downtrodden, right? So their interest is not the same in keeping this going as those who have been eating more in this system. Okay. And so here you come with Christianity. And one day an emperor, what is his name? Claudius? I want to say it was Emperor Claudius, who were contemplating war. He's thinking about going to war to take over another kingdom, and he has this dream, reportedly, allegedly, has this dream or this vision of the cross. And the words that were on the cross were conquer in my name, or in this name you should conquer. Something like that, right? And so that led Claudius to believe that the Christ who had died on the cross was now telling him to go forth and conquer the world in his name. So this is where you get the idea of conquering in the name of Christ, okay? This is where you begin the formation of the church, the Catholic Church, as it were, today, okay? You have the soldiers going out to fight, and then you have the government who act as a like spiritual council, so to say. You have your preachers who go out and give the word, and then you have the people who are supposed to support the leadership as they support the conquering in the name of Christ. If that makes sense what I'm saying. Okay. So, as Christianity is spreading, people are getting mad, but they realize they can't do anything about it, okay? Claudius comes up with this vision, gives it to everyone, and now the Romans believe that it is their sole duty to spread the gospel of Christ to the world in the name of Christ and Rome, okay? Because I'm trying to show how the nationalism ties in here, right? In the name of Christ and Rome. And so the Romans do conquer, right? They go on conquering. And so to others looking on, oh, this must be right. Think about it, how we talk about colonization today, and how the native people had their spiritual practices, and then here come the colonizers taking it from them and converting them into something else, okay? And so after time goes by, you have people who forget how this started, right? Because they weren't there in the beginning. Okay. So from Rome, this grows. Okay. And then you have the establishment of all these different churches because they take different doctrines from different parts of the Bible. So you have your Catholic Church, your Lutherans, your Protestants, and everybody pops up or whatever. Right. So when it comes time to when Western civilization starts to pop up, you have what a lot of historians will label a Christian veneer. Because at this time, Christianity has been the religion of conquering, right? I'm trying to, please know, when I be saying this stuff to y'all, it's my first time hearing it out loud too, okay? Like, I study, I read, I pray, I meditate, and then it's like, all right, what we gonna say? So please understand, like, this is my first time hearing a lot of this stuff too. Right? So from Rome, you get this idea of conquering in the name of God and country. And this continues to spread. We see the effects of colonialism. You go from the Roman Empire to the British Empire, from the British Empire to our present day American Empire, but it's all the same thing. The Romans were conquering in the name of Catholicism. The British were conquering in the name of not Christian, Protestantism. And then if you remember the story, we're told about the religious Puritans wanting to come to America to establish a Christian nation, whatever the case may be. If you go back though to the vision that Claudius had and the beginning of the colonization in the name of God and country, you start, to me, it starts to unravel this whole idea of Christian nationalism, right? Because if it began with an emperor believing that he was called to go and conquer the world in the name of God, now we have another understanding of where this version of Christianity started to come from and what it is really all about. Now we have an understanding why the focus is on verses about God, those who are in charge are only put there because God put them there, and obey the laws of the land. And this is why they keep preaching this unity in Christ to us, right? Because it is easier to control a populace who believes they are unified than one who is in constant division, okay? But what you have now, though, is America continuing to conquer in the name of God and country, but it's never about anything more than that. It's only the only part of Christianity that we see in nationalism is the part that's ready to fight, the part that's ready to conquer, the part that's ready to take from you and give to another. Oh gosh. It's like they want to just keep rerunning the Old Testament. It's like it's like they have taken the mandate that the Most High gave the Israelites to go and clear the land, and I will give this to you. And now, well, no, I'm not going to say it's like it's what they're doing. And now they're taking it and they're applying it to them when it was never meant for them. And it was never meant for them to take the lands and make them what they have currently become. And so the problem with Christian nationalism is that it's not following Christ at all. It is following the Christ of your nation, okay? And I say the Christ of your nation. Christ is... Because we say Jesus the Christ, right? Christ is a title. Christ is a title. Therefore, it is possible... Hold on. Let me get it exactly, because I don't want to be saying the wrong thing. Okay, Christ is a title, which means anointed one, coming from the Greek word Christos. Just wanted to make sure I had that right before I said it. Okay. Therefore, you can have a Christ of anything. You can have America can have her own Christ, her own anointed one. This is our Savior. You can make anything that. And so instead of the focus being on God the Creator, now the focus is on America's Jesus. It's I don't want to say, and here, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to get banned. And I just don't want to say the wrong thing. It's another gospel. It's another Christ. Didn't Paul say, be careful, those who come preaching you another gospel, another Christ? It's another gospel. Because this gospel is only reserved for Americans. And what's so funny, this gospel seems to be reserved for European Americans. But there are a lot of non-European Americans who feel like they have a part in this gospel and not realizing that they are signing up to be subservient. Yeah, you have a part in this gospel, but it's not of a chosen one. You're the poor that will be with us always. You're the the burden here that we have to figure out what to do with. You're supposed to be in servitude because they've assigned all the Bible verses about being in servitude to you non-European Americans. And this is frustrating. This is frustrating, especially when you've grown up calling yourself a Christian all your life. It's frustrating when you've grown up thinking that your relationship to God, it's weird when you think that your relationship to God is somehow tied to your blackness, and then you grow up to find out that the God that you've been told to worship doesn't appreciate your blackness at all. Doesn't appreciate your blackness at all. I remember, and it sticks out to me the more and more I come into the truth and the knowledge of who I am and the truth of the Bible. It never skips my mind how I used to be made to feel like I should just be thankful to even be able to be in the presence of the Most High. And hear me, I'm not being haughty when I say this, but hear me. It's being made to feel like you're just low, right? You're the message that's fed is you're not worthy, you're not good enough. You should just be happy that God even, acknowledges you. Who are you? And the only reason you're able to be here is da da da. You understand what I'm saying? It's being made to feel like that when the truth of the matter is I'm just as much a child of his as one of my kids is a child of mine. The truth of the matter is you should be lucky to be here. I'm called by his name. I'm one of his. It's like somebody trying to tell me that I should just be happy to be able to talk to my mama. A stranger telling me that, okay? Not a stranger. Somebody who don't know my mother. Thinking they're going to stand in front of me and block me from getting to my mom when that's my mom. You're trying to make me feel like I'm the one that should just be grateful to be able to be here, when the fact of the matter is this is my home. You are the one that should be happy to be able to be here. And so when you start to learn how it really is, it's like, man, it's so crazy. I've grown up my whole life referring to myself as a Christian because I thought I was following the ways of Christ. But now you mean to tell me that what I thought was Christianity is just really nationalism? And I'm saying nationalism to keep the term as broad as I possibly can. You know, the word that starts with the R and ends with the ism as well. That's what I want to say, but I won't. And so, yes, we have been living in what has been called the Christian veneer. And is where you apply a cloak of Catholicism. And I call it the cloak of Catholicism because Catholicism means universal, right? And when they started the Catholic Church, this was meant to be the universal religion. And so part of universal is, we're going to make everybody feel like they're involved. We're going to make everybody feel like they belong. As a matter of fact, this reminds me of a picture that I was sent, and I have to ask the sister if I can show the picture. But it's a picture of a motif. I'm going to call it a motif of different different colors of Mary. Mary, Jesus' mother. Yeah. It had her in every like different races and colors. So she was different shades of brown. She was Asian. She was white. She had red hair. Like she was representing all these different nationalities. But the picture of her son, Jesus, was of a white skinned, blonde haired, blue eyed man. That does not make any sense. But that is the story of Catholicism. That is the revelation of the nationalism. It's all you different people come together to worship this Christ. This white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed American Jesus. All you immigrants, bring me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. All of you bow down and worship this Christ, this one Christ right here. That is nationalism, Christian nationalism, okay? And so now I would like to propose to you a question about what's your ism in your Christianity? And I know a lot of y'all don't like to be called Christians anymore. And that's cool. But just sit with me for a second with this one. What's the ism in your Christianity? What is the thing that you are using your Christian veneer to cover up for? What are you hiding behind your praise the Lord and God bless you and all praises to the Most High? What are you hiding in your Sabbaths? What is that thing that you dare not do around the sisters? What are those text messages that you dare not show the congregation? What is that spirit, that attitude? What is that thing that you are still allowing to trigger you? What is that thing that you hate that you're still allowing to trigger you? What is your Christian veneer hiding? If y'all don't know how veneers work, let me explain it to you real quick. Most time when you go to get veneers, they shave down your real teeth. Like they shave it down to like a nub. So it's nothing there. And then they will put the cap on top of your real teeth. So you can't see your real tooth anymore. A problem that comes from that is that tooth under there is still very much alive, right? But you have taken off its protective covering and replaced it with something else. So that thing that might have once been growing and flourishing is now going to start festering and possibly dying. And it is going to start stinking and it is going to start telling people that something is wrong. And so this is a problem with your Christian veneer. This is a problem with your Christian veneer. I don't know if you all have, you all know how oil and water don't mix. You all know how, I'm trying to think of something. Okay. You know things that don't mix. You know oil and water don't mix. You know iron and clay don't mix. You know you know certain things don't mix. You know you can't put old wine into new wine skins because the new wine skin has not had time to expand and fit the old wine and get used to the old wine, right? And so you put this brand, okay, it's like putting perfume on top of funk. My mama used to say that all the time. You can't put perfume on top of funk. Get your behind in the shower and wash. It's like that. Right? It's like putting perfume on top of funk. And so you know this person stink because you smell it. But you also smell some kind of flower or something trying to get through. And it's just a mass confusion. Like nothing smells good at all. It's all bad. Right? And so when you go out here and you try to live in your Christian veneer, eventually it's going to all go bad. Eventually it's gonna all go bad because your real teeth underneath are gonna start telling on you. It's gonna start stinking. It's gonna start leaking into your life. I don't know why y'all feel like you can go to the devil's party and party with him and think he just gonna let you go like that. This is a spiritual war you're in. You are not on the playground playing patty cake. No, this is a fight for your soul out here. And one of the questions is like, well, we don't have free will anyway. Why go back and forth? Because it's a day by day struggle. One of the sisters in our group chat said that her daughter had asked her, if we have free will, then why ask me to choose this day who I will serve? And I have to say, like, that question was like, yes, honey, yes, great question, right? But the fact of the matter is, you're on a journey every day. You're on a journey every day. So every day you have to choose whom ye will serve. At every decision, you have to choose whom ye will serve. When you have that opportunity to take a little bit more than you should, you have to choose whom ye will serve. When that person starts to piss you off and if I hit them in the chin right now, this will all be over. Choose ye this day whom ye will serve. When your integrity is on the line and you have a chance to do something that you know that nobody else will find out about, choose ye this day whom ye will serve. When Buddy is on the phone with that deep voice trying to tempt you to let me pull up, choose ye this day whom ye will serve. Okay, it's a moment by moment, day to day decision to serve the Lord. All right. So with that being said, you can't. Okay. Some of y'all trying to hide some lifestyles out here, thinking that the people around you cannot smell the real you. You may fool some of the people some of the time, but you're not going to fool the person who prays. You're not going to fool a praying person, especially when their discernment is on point. And they may not say anything to you. If the Most High don't lead them to say nothing to you, then they're not going to say nothing to you. But they know. The people around you who you think you're doing such a good job of hiding your secret from, you're not. They know. They can look right through you. And now let me tell y'all something else, okay? Because speaking of lifestyles, I understand that being removed from a lifestyle, removed from a bad habit is a process. I get it's a process. I have a lot of conversations about the difference between struggle, mistakes, willful sin. We just talked about that last week, like mistakes versus willful sin. And so this is a conversation that I've had quite a bit. In a perfect world, there's no room for anything. And if it's not my problem, it's easy for me to tell you that, oh no, there's no room for you to struggle. If I don't have an issue with crack, it's easy for me to tell you, girl, you need to put that crack pipe down. God has no mercy for you and that crack pipe. This is foolish. But I don't have a problem with crack. Okay. As a married woman, it's easy for me to look at you single sisters and say, y'all need to keep y'all legs closed. Y'all got to stop fornicating. Stop sitting around here being hoes. It's easy for me to say that. But as a woman who was once single and had to deal with those things, I get it. Okay. I also, though, cannot sit out here and just pass out mercy and grace as if it's mine to give, because it's not. And that's just facts. It's not mine to give. Your mercies come from God daily. His grace and mercy is new for you daily. It's not mine to tell you, oh yes, it's okay to go out here and keep doing what you're doing. I'm responsible for every word that comes out of my mouth. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh yeah, that's okay. Go ahead. No. What I am going to tell you is you need to be putting 1,000% of your best effort into getting over the lifestyle that has you bound, whatever it is in your life that has you bound. And also, let me say this for those of y'all who feel like you're waiting on healing to gain some self control over some issues that you may be dealing with. Again, this is something that I hate about social media, pop culture, and buzzwords, because we throw around that word healing and healed without really giving people a measurable definition. I mean, measurable definition. How can I tell if I'm healed? Who's answering that question? I don't know. But I prayed about it. To me, I feel like you being healed is not that the thing doesn't bother you anymore, right? Because if you cut yourself, you're gonna have a scar, right? If the cut is big enough, you're gonna have a scar there. Man, I have a scar on my face from when I had chickenpox as a kid. It's over here somewhere. And every time I look at it, I remember, oh yeah, I had chickenpox. But it doesn't hurt anymore. It doesn't itch anymore. Like when I touch it, it doesn't bother me. It's just a thing that's there that I cannot get rid of no matter what I do. Okay. And so unfortunately, we have some things like that that happen to us in our lives that leave emotional scars that no matter what you do, you're never going to get rid of it. I'm never going to get over the fact that my dad walked out when I was 8 and was not present in my life and did not give me the love that I see my husband giving our kids now. I'm never going to get over that. That's always something that's going to bother me. But I have learned to control the emotions surrounding that issue, right? What was my husband doing? My husband was doing something to me. And it triggered me from something my mom used to do to me that I hate. I don't know if it was his tone or something he was doing, but it was triggering me, right? But instead of me lashing out and yelling and screaming and reacting as if this is the original thing I'm upset about, I'm able to say, like, okay, calm down. This is not what this is. He's not talking down to you. He's not condescending, being condescending with you. You guys are just talking. That's being healed. When your trigger occurs, but you are able to tell yourself, calm down. That's not what this is. Let's look at this situation separately and individually, okay? Like when we first got married, there used to be a lot of voice raising going on in our home. Coming from an abusive relationship, I couldn't deal with a man raising his voice at me because, in my experience, a raised voice means a fist is coming afterwards. And I'm not going through that again, okay? So when he would raise his voice at me, it would just send me to 100. And now I'm like, I'm in a fight or flight situation based on past experiences, when this present experience is just a man who's frustrated and trying to express himself to me. Okay. Healed me understands that. Healed me understands that, okay, he's just frustrated. He's trying to talk to me. He's entitled to his feelings, just like I'm entitled to mine. Just like I get frustrated, he's entitled to get frustrated. Just like I get upset, he's entitled to get upset. Should we find a healthier way to deal with this? Absolutely. And we will. But for right now, the healed part of me understands what this separate situation is. Okay. And so I need y'all to get to that point so that your issues and your unresolved issues, I'm not going to say unresolved trauma, because a lot of it ain't trauma. A lot of it is just stuff that happened and it left a mark on you, okay? I consider trauma something very serious, something critical. You understand what I'm saying? So, yes, some things are, but a lot of our stuff is not what I would call trauma. It's just bad life experience. You understand what I'm saying? Unfortunate life experiences that led us to be involved in some things. Okay? And so until you deal with that, it's going to continue to tell on you. I have a child that's very sensitive. One of my kids, very, very sensitive. Like you can't You can't joke about certain things. You can't say certain things. Certain things. Just she's just very sensitive child, and we try to tell her all the time, stop wearing your feelings on your sleeve. And I'm guilty of this. Even now, I'm guilty of this. Like when I get in certain moods, I'm guilty of it too because I'll let everything bother me. Like my husband can be like, "Ooh, girl, you looking thick today. What are you trying to say? I'm fat? What? I'm ugly now? You don't love me no more? Who you been looking at?" You know what I'm saying? Like it could it could take me there, but because I'm healed, that's a compliment. Oh, he trying to say I look good today. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Your issues that you refuse to control not only affect you, but it affects it affects the others around you. Because when you lash out at them. You lash out at them. And contrary to what social media would have you believe, a person doesn't have to take your crap in order to be a good friend to you. That's not what a friend is. And you, as a good friend, should not want to keep dumping and lashing out on the people around you who are trying to love on you and be a part of your life. And usually, when you are lashing out and dumping on other people, you are not placing the blame where it belongs. And a lot of time it's because the blame belongs with you and you're not ready to take accountability for your part in said consequence. Like there'll be times when I'll be in the kitchen and I can't find something, right? And it's because I asked the boys to help me put up the dishes and I didn't look. Like maybe I got distracted, I was on the phone, or maybe I walked away for a second. So they might have put a bowl in the cup cabinet, or they might have put a mixing spoon in the drawer with the regular serving spoons. But now I'm cooking, I'm in the middle of a situation, I need to find this thing and I can't find it. And so I could lash out at the boys and be like, why y'all didn't just look around and figure out? But no, the healed me realizes, dang, I must not have been paying attention and they just put it here. Okay, next time, let me make sure I show them where this goes. Instead of me yelling at them and now I'm ruining their day. And now because listen, your kids love you. I know my kids love me. And it hits me sometimes how much they love me when they'll be like, "Mommy, I love you," or "Thank you, Mommy," or "Mommy, you look so pretty," or like Atticus, and he's that charmer. Let me tell you, he'll come up to me and he'll be like, "Mommy, thank you so much for taking care of me. You take such good care of me." Okay, so why would I want to ruin that joyful, loving little spirit, that little heart? Why would I want to ruin that over something so silly? But this is what you do when you don't control your triggers and you don't control your emotions, when you refuse to really get to the healing. Because you can listen all day to people sitting on podcasts and telling you need to heal, you need to forgive. But if they're not telling you exactly how to apply that to your real life, then they're just blowing smoke up your tushy. And I need y'all to get off that. I think that is a problem with a lot of Black women, because we have more than enough people out here willing to give us advice, but they're not willing to give you a foundational point for such advice. I can tell you to heal all day, but if I can't tell you what it looks like, and if I can't tell you how to get there, then I'm just wasting your time. Write a letter and burn it. Okay, that might help. But how about we pray about it and give it to the Most High and let Him deal with it? One of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control in all situations. That's not just when it's time to get down with the get down. That's when you're angry, when you're sad, when you're frustrated, when you feel like screaming and hollering, when you want to cuss, when you want to talk crazy to your husband, when them kids getting on your nerves. Self-control is for all of that. All of that. Your home is your first ministry, but you so busy terrorizing people at home. This is one thing I used to hate about going to church. I used to hate this about going to church. People who were so friendly at church, but their families couldn't stand them. They be so friendly at church, have all the laughs and the kisses and the hugs and everything for everybody at church, but will raise pure D hell at home, and their families could not stand them. Oh, thank you, sis. Very good topic. You went deep on this one. Very good analogy. Used the problem going on in the system. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to propose to y'all. Examine what you were looking for when you were looking to be healed. Examine that. Also, for single mothers, you have to come to terms with the fact that you have a living and breathing physical reminder of a regrettable relationship. You just have to come to terms with that. Okay. I know. And see, this is another thing that I hate about these buzzwords, right? Because when they talk about healing, they will have you to think that, oh, this thing just goes away and doesn't bother you anymore. But what if it's a kid that looks exactly like his dad? You understand what I'm saying? Like there are some things that you just are not going to get rid of. Some scars are going to be there. You cannot get rid of your kids. I don't care how much they remind you of their dad and how much you hate their dad and all this other stuff. You chose him at one time. And so you chose to lay down with him. And now you have to live with these consequences. But there's no reason for you to be angry and bitter about it the whole time. Yes, people are going to trigger you. That's their job. There are some people whose only mission in life is to test you and aggravate you. And sometimes you choose to reproduce with these people. And that being the case, here's the thing. Because y'all want to be all enlightened and y'all want to be put on these pedestals as if you're some kind of spiritual, intellectual, whatever type of God is. But your behavior is very low and very gutter. You can't be both. I believe the Bible, I believe God, but if you mess with me, I'll take it to the streets on you. What? That's not, and this is why nobody takes you seriously. This is why nobody takes you seriously. All right, y'all, I'm going over my time. I'm sorry. Like, I have been thinking about this topic for a long time. So I was kind of excited to talk about it. I hope something that I said was helpful, whether you're listening live or on a replay. My boys didn't come down and let me know it was time to start wrapping up. I don't know what's going on here. If you are not following me on these social media streets, please follow me at Miss Mono's World. And there's a Miss Mono's World 2 on TikTok. I started another TikTok. Picking and choosing. Hey, Will. I started another TikTok. Miss Mono's World 2. I'm trying to get that one up and going. So yeah. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat at Miss Mono's World. Don't forget about the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. Like, share, subscribe, comment. You guys, if you would like to help donate to our ministry efforts, you can head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. I told you we had a few ways that you could help support us here. So the Cash App is definitely one of them. Another way that you can help support us, I wrote a book. The book is called Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass, 8 Questions to Consider While Waiting. I just wrote this as a quick little guide to give my sisters something to think about, whether you're thinking about dating, and courting, or wherever you are in your relationship thought process. You grab that book off Amazon. If you have a Kindle, you can download it directly to your Kindle, or you can download the Kindle app. Will, hey, shalom. You can download the Kindle app and then download the book onto the Kindle app. It is only $5. It is at Amazon.com. It is called, you can just look up Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass, and then the book will come up. Yes, turn on your notifications. I am live here every Thursday at 8 o'clock. Same black time, same black station. Lord willing, the creek don't rise, I will still be here. Oh, BT Dubs. The government is shut down, okay? I have a few people in my family who are employed by the federal government, so they are making them work for free. I'm telling y'all right now, I don't like it. They're making them work for free, and I know we've been through this before, and I hope this one ends quickly. I really do, but I just hope it ends quickly because, like I said, I have people in my family who are getting up, going to work every day for free. Oh, and then they told them today, they were having a meeting about it today. And they told them that they could take out loans to help them if they needed money until the shutdown was over. You can go borrow money from the government who's not paying you right now anyway. Yeah, okay, right. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense to me either. Okay, last way you can support our ministry. Follow myself at Miss Mono's World. Follow my husband at Monologue McGad. We're both on socials. He's very active on Facebook and Instagram. I'm more the other ones, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. Both of us are monetized. So every like, every comment, every share, every repost, everything counts. We're on Facebook and Instagram mostly. TikTok is a beast, okay? I'm still trying to figure that thing out. But Facebook and Instagram, mostly our stuff is monetized. So every little thing counts. Every view counts. Every like counts. Every comment, every share, every repost to your story, everything counts. So please, if it's in your heart to support us, if you would like to be helpful to us, those are the ways you can do it. You can donate to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. You can head over to Amazon.com and buy the book, Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. And you can support with stars, likes, shares, comments, and subscribes on social media. Okay? To my sisters in my group chat, thank you so much for joining me. I know we hang out on Wednesdays and then y'all come over here and hang out with me on Thursdays. I appreciate you guys so very, very much. I look forward to kicking it with y'all again next week. Thank you to everybody who stopped by. Zipporah Israel, Lanice, Trepeka, Will. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. If you're listening to this on a replay, comment replay. Let me know you stopped by. I love y'all so much. Let me see. What else? Am I missing anything? I will see y'all right back here. Same black time, same black station, Thursday night, 8 o'clock for my Boaz. Don't Want Your Ass. I love you so much. Shalom. Shalom. And good night.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. That it came up.
One time for my king doing king things. Mommy's hoes cause he know he got a good thing.
Tune in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue